Hey everyone, we are in my kitchen, and generally you don't find me in my kitchen on a Friday watercolor session, but I thought I'll give it to you just as it is. So it is Friday today. I am precisely 2 hours and a bit late with the video. It is summer holidays, so no school, and obviously got all the mum duties. We've been out, we've done, we're doing this reading challenge, so we've been to the library. Yeah, it's been lovely. It's been a nice day, quite chilled, but in terms of my YouTube commitments, it is difficult to balance everything all together. So I thought I'll bring the camera and the equipment and the microphone, everything down, put it on my dining table, and basically share with you how things are when things get really busy and there are other priorities and your kind of creative side becomes minimal. So I just got the pizza dough ready. It's proving in the oven. I have about 45 minutes until my husband comes home and we have dinner all together. So we're having pizzas made from scratch, of course, and yeah, so that should be quite nice. And then straight after dinner I usually dash off to the gym. Well, I say usually, it doesn't happen every single Friday. Some Fridays I try. Anyway, it's all just I have to see how the day goes. So that is it, and let's now move on to that side of the table, and I will show you all the goodies that I brought down from upstairs, and we'll do some art together. Okay, so here are all the things that I brought up, brought down rather. I've got a sketchbook that has all the swatches for my tombos, and as you can see there are quite a few. Then I have obviously a water jar. I've got some stamping sets which I might or might not use. I've got a little mixing dish. I've got 2 watercolor palettes right here. So I've got my botanical palette. Then we have the second palette here, which is Roman Schmal. So this is the full palette or the full pan set, which occasionally sticks to the lid. They're a little bit sticky, and so when it's hot I find that they tend to stick a little bit, but this arrangement houses 72 colors, and I've got a number of videos where I'm mentioning or sharing how I'm creating and putting together this palette, along with the recent addition of the swatching list. And let's see, where shall I put it all? Running out of space already. I mean, this is a nice large table, so I'm not pressed for space, but still. So then we have all these lovely gorgeous swatches, which would be easy to navigate through. I'm just trying to find my tombos. These are Molotovs. Oh, here we go. So that's the tombos right here. And we've got a brush, we've got a fountain pen in like a super fine tip or nib. And this is loaded with waterproof ink, which is the platinum carbon ink. And then I also got this lovely dish yesterday. We have a beautiful farmers market type of a shop close by, and they also sell some beautiful kitchenware and things like that. So this is such a gorgeous plate that I really wanted to have in my studio. I mean, the color scheme and the theme, just, I love lobster, I love seafood and shellfish. So it says here, hand wash only with love, and it's by Yvonne Allen London. So I haven't seen this brand before, but they did have some other beautiful designs like a leopard, and I think there were a couple other designs. So this is a trinket dish, so I thought I'll share it for those of you who love beautiful things. So I'm just going to keep a couple of things in here for now. Let's just draw flowers and just enjoy kind of just drawing. So I'm thinking of cosmos flowers right here. That's kind of what pops into my mind when I want to paint a joyful flower that isn't too complicated. Yep, this is one of the neighbor's dogs. We do have a lot of dog lovers in the countryside. And then let's see, I'm just going to focus on the flowers. I don't think I will, or shall I? Oh, I may actually. All right, I will. So what I like about Cosmos is the fact that they have these lovely, very wispy, kind of reminds me of dill, leafage and greenery, and it's so pretty. I will show you later a little trick to add some color to these areas without, you know, going overboard. And then I'm thinking, well, I might as well just create a composition. So if we have this rather in the middle, we don't have too many options for an interesting composition at that point. So what I would do is I would add different stages of the same flower. So for instance, like a bud. So this is purely from my head. I don't quite remember if this is what the bud looks like, but I believe this is what it looks like. So it's a combo of realism as well as your own kind of intuitive drawing. So remember, this time is joy. This is for a joyful experience because there is very little time that I have, and so therefore it has to be enjoyable. Okay, so we have enough detail here. Now something needs to come out into this direction, and I wonder if I'll just do a similar flower up here, but maybe with smaller petals and more irregular. I think I'll go slightly overlapping like that. And I will go for one more roughly here. So I'm trying to change up the size of them. Okay, so you may see why I prefer to draw the flower first and then connect the vine, because otherwise it might mess up your leaf structure. So I think this is it, but I probably would need a little bit of greenery somewhere else, maybe around here, or just a small one in between the leaves, like that. I hope you're enjoying your summer. I hope you're having a good time and the weather wherever you are is decent. Not one way or the other where it's too hot or too cold. Let's think of the center. So center generally with cosmos flowers is yellow. And I haven't planted any cosmos flowers this year, but I think I might add them next year actually. I ran out of space in my garden. I've got space for about one more plant, I think, and that is it. So I might just find a little place where I just kind of squeeze them in between. Okay, so here is my Roman Schmal palette. Here is my swatch card for easy navigation. Like that. Don't know if you can see it, probably not, no. So I'll pop it here then. Okay, so let's see. Yellow. I'm gonna go for the Nickel Acer Yellow, which I have in both palettes. And here is my Daniel Smith Nickel Acer Yellow, so it's less dirty. I do like this dirty color though. So let's do that. Okay, so the brush I have is Princeton Neptune Round 4. It's beautiful for holding a lot of water. So if you like these kind of loose paintings, it's great for that. You know, one part of me wants you to see up close. Another part of me wants you to see everything that I'm working with, so you can see how I'm navigating. I know when I was learning, I love to observe artists, how they, you know, navigate between the colors, the water, the everything. And it really helped me learn. So here I'm adding a little bit of quinacridone gold, which is this color underneath here. Now Cosmos comes in all sorts of colors, but I want a pink. And I want a pink, let's see, a pink like permanent rose and a bit of quinacridone red light, so something like that. So I'm just going to go into this area, and it's okay if there's a little bit of color. In fact, if you mix your colors with others, it only will create a more interesting mix. So here we go. So you've got two options here. Either you start dark and go light, or you go dark and you go light towards the end. I think I want dark ends and then lighter color as I go. So for that, I'm just going to use this lovely little mix. So this illustration is just fun. It's summery, it's light, nothing too complicated, nothing too, what's the right word? Intimidating, that's it. Watercolor can be intimidating, especially if you are beginning. So here we're just having fun. So you see what happens, we're creating a gradient by using mostly water on this side and then just connecting. And what happens is it just connects and you have light color and darker. But there's a little trick you can still do, and I'll show you. So see, if I'm doing it the reverse, I have less control over it and it just shoots in here. So I prefer to start with darker color and then adding a lighter color. So like that. Now, what we can do is mix up a darker color, and I'm going to use alizarin crimson from this palette, and then just dab it in right here. So just for a little bit of drama, also a little bit of contrast. With watercolor, when you want to have an impact, you have to play with contrasts and colors, and you'll find that very quickly this is how you make things look really interesting. I'm thinking of making a video of the things that I've done wrong as a beginner in watercolor and share those with you. Okay, so one flower is ready. We could mix up a different color, and here I'm just going to go to the buffet, or buffet, is it buffet? Buffet. And just mix my own kind of colors here in the palette and not be too strict about which colors I load on my brush. Whatever I have here comes from the palette. And that's the other thing. Once you become more confident with your mixes, you will just be a bit more experimental. In the beginning, it's good to follow. It's good to understand what color exactly you need to put with another color and what the result would be. Once you got that covered, you will start being a little bit more free-flowing and just, you know, enjoying the colors that you have in your palette. So in here, I have to say this is the pink that I like more. This is warmer pink. Doesn't really speak to me, but that's okay. Having a bit of diversity in your colors, that's good as well. So same thing, I'm going to go into a darker color. This time I'm going to go into Naphthalite Maroon. And whoa, look at this. So the colors are still mainly wet, so they're just kind of moving nicely. And we have got this bit more contrast here. So I think I'm going to mainly leave it, maybe just with 1 or 2 petals. Move it out. The rest has flown in nicely. Like that. Okay. So here we go. All right, and then the third one. So I'm thinking let's go for something pinky. So we've got Rose Madder Genuine, and in fact we've got quinacridone pink here, which no, I'll go with the pinky pink. So that just goes here. Right at the tip. As you're running out of the color, you load your brush back in with the pigment. So here we will go back to the original mix, which was it was this quinacridone red light. Okay, so I'm gonna put that into here. And same thing, just pull out the water. The more water you have, the less control you'll have as well, so keep that in mind. I might add a touch of this pink just in the corners. Okay, so that's all very nice. We've got a bit of green here, which I will wait to do. For now, I am going to show you what I do with these very wispy greens. So I take a Tombow, and this is 126, and let's see, 126 is light olive. Let me bring it in here. So it's right here. And I'm just going to basically trace it like that. And the good thing is you can even add more, like, you know, if you feel that you want to extend the shape slightly. You could skip the black part altogether and you could go straight in with the Tombows. The tip is super fine, so you can create lovely details. Obviously it'd be very hard to go this fast with a brush, like a fine brush and watercolor. So hence why I like to add a bit of detail with Tombow if it's this fine. It's great tip for also like abstract art. If you like dots and things, you can't get finer than this basically. And another great thing is, of course, these are water soluble. So if you wanted to, look, I can even add it here. If I don't want to wait for the watercolor to dry fully, I'm just going to do this. So to create that kind of wispy look, I'm just going to run my brush slightly like so. So it's not really completely moving the lines, but it's adding that bit of volume to it, so you can see that there is like lightness about the greenery. And then I'm thinking, let me just add, you can totally go in with some watercolor on top of Tombows as well and just mix the two. Works beautifully. And that is it. If I wanted to add more detail to the centers, I could then pick out like a color. I'm just making sure everything is dry and just maybe dot a few dots here without, you know, going overboard, letting still the watercolor shine through, but just a little bit of detail. And keep in mind, when the watercolor is still wet, the line will just expand a little bit. So that is it. That was a lot of fun. And I'll show you a close-up. That's our cosmos. I hope you enjoy this time with me and painting and things. So here's the area where I was talking about adding water to the greenery, and you can see it's just adding a nice little volume, like transparent layer of color without being too much, but it's making the green part a bit more present. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and painting watercolor summery flowers, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.